Okay, so
Exactly.
we're here today in the BNB Chain and Infium Founders Academy talking to successful founders in the BNB Chain ecosystem. And one of those founders is Potter Lee, who co-founded the company called ETH Sign. And Potter is going to walk us through the venture initiation process and fundraising process that resulted in a successful product launches and also fundraising for the company. So why don't we go to the beginning, Potter, and just talk about a little bit about the idea, and then how did you assemble the original team, and how did you get the first sort of seed funding to get it done?
Got it. Thank you, Marina, having me on, on this interview. I'm very thrilled to share with my experience with myself and with my venture ETH Sign. So, ETH Sign, we started around 3 years ago, and a little more background of myself is I jumped into crypto rabbit hole in around 2017. In high school, I started trading Bitcoin, Ethereum, and and after I got admitted to USC, I found a group of passionate students, and we co-founded blockchain at USC, which is the one and only blockchain organization in Southern California, in USC, and it actually grew to a 100 community, people community for the past 3 years, and with alumni, current students, and student faculties, we hosted a bunch of amazing events every year. And last year we have BNB as one of our sponsors to our SoCal blockchain conference. So shout out to BNB as well. And besides blockchain at USC, where I serve as one of the co-founder, and I serve as the president from my freshman year to my junior year, I co-founded ETH Sign. ETH Sign roughly 3 years ago with my two of the co-founders, Xing and Jack. So a little background of my two of the co-founders. Xing is a very reputable VC, crypto VC investor. Prior he joined our journey. He worked at Fundamental Labs and Huobi as a venture team, and successfully invested into help the company to invest into Coinbase, Polkadot, so on and so forth, many good projects. And Jackie himself is a smart contract developer. And fun fact, I met him in one of the first blockchain class at USC, which is called ITP 256. And right now, Jack himself is teaching two Solidity course at USC as a part-time lecturer. So nourishing the next generation of smart contract developers in USC. So very proud of him as well. So as the three of us started, and we recruited our first 5-10 people, all just from our friends at USC, our old the colleagues that we were working before, and just like it's a very small team. And we secured our pre-seed fundraising in 2021, around the March, backed by led by Draper Associates, and with other participant investors, including Hashkey, Token, NGC, so on and so forth. So I think how we are able to secure our pre-seed funding is after years of building the reputation, building the product, building the networks in the crypto space. We three of our co-founders already proven to be scrappy, talented founders, as we are working on solving how to use blockchain technology to build a real utility product that serves goods and services to the people to the world. So the first idea comes into place where we think that how should we leverage the Web3 tech stack to rebuild a a traditional, like a existing, let's say, application that can potentially make the experience and the value proposition to the users. And we were thinking about revamping the DocuSign experience, or the e-signature experience in crypto, is because we think that since not just DocuSign itself, but all the existing e-signature companies, they use let's say centralized servers and to store the signatures and hashes, which we think might be a risk if the company ended up become bankrupt, and all the historical contracts or document will get deleted eventually. And also they also have the opportunity and the access to the document the company themselves, so which is not private as well. So to touch on those problems, we started off by building our first product, which is called ETH Sign signatures. We use a bunch of Web3 tech stack. We integrate DID networks. We build our smart contract in different EVM compatible blockchains, and we store the contract itself in decentralized storage, aka Arweave. So the value proposition or the benefits compared to the traditional solution is that first of all the signing transaction, the hash will be recorded on EVM compatible chains, verified by thousands or hundreds of nodes, which people it's hard when people want to verify when and how it was signed, it has the proof there, and the contract itself is encrypted and stored in Arweave, which means that it's not just permanent storage, which means that if ETH Sign dies tomorrow, then all the contract was being signed, it was still going to be available and be downloadable by all the parties. And third, is encrypted, so only the related party can have access to it. Even us, we don't have access to it. Third, we use private key to sign the contract, which we think is a much more private, in a much more secure way than just using your email or traditional Web2 fashion to log in. However, we do support the traditional social login as a login feature. As we integrated Web3 auth, they create this seamlessly frictionless onboarding process for the traditional Web2 users. So that was our first product. And after we raised our pre-seed, we've just been building this product, and till today, we actually gathered more than 180K signatures aggregated through our platform, which in our notable users, including, let's say, MetaMask operation team, Amber Group, and a bunch of VCs, and are using us to sign SAFT safe and MOUs, and all different types of contract. And we don't have the we don't have the like know the exact contract type that they sign, is because we don't know what exact contract they're being signed, but they always come into our community or just come to us and saying, oh, I just used eSign to sign my MOU, and the experience is good. So that was very happy that we see. So after we built out the signature product, we started to think out how we can leverage the smart contract to execute the traditional contract terms, legal terms. So I think smart contract is a great enforcement for executing traditional terms, including money transfer, or associated with, let's say, escrow, direct transfer, or recurring payments, so on and so forth. And we think that targeting those scenarios might be a good way to just to unlock the more smart contract potential into real world use cases. And that's when we inspired us to build, our second product under the ETH Sign branch. The first one is signatures, and the second product we're building is called ETH Sign Token Table. So during our process of building Token Table, you can think of it as like a natural extension of getting your signature product to apply to a vertical use case. We first targeting on turning the fundraising legal documents like SAFT and SAFE into smart contract. And I think this ideas got validated, during our fundraising journey, is because our target users are basically the crypto VCs, angels, and and founders themselves. So when during our when we raising our seed round, when we go out there and to speak of what problem we're trying to solve and what is the benefit and value proposition we can bring to the investors, they almost all of them have said to us that they are experiencing the same thing. They're experiencing the same hurdles when they were trying to execute a fundraise procedure with the founders, how they're using a fragmented applications to complete the fundraising journey, and they also there is also having a hard time to manage their portfolio companies, because when they it's hard to keep track of the token launch date, the vesting schedule, and so on and so forth. So when we started our fundraising journey to raise our seed round, our product is solving a needs for the investors we are raising. So I think that comes to a sweet spot where they understand what we are doing. They think this is a real pain point, and they think our team can be the team that is capable of building this product and having this execution. So starting from our second round of fundraising, we of course a lot of our previous investor, they give us a warm intro to our other investors as well, and we are still building our revenue because all the investors, they see what we have accomplished over the past year or two, and which gives them more validation and confidence to invest into. In 2020, around 2020 February, we closed our seed round fundraising, led by Sequoia Capital India and Mirana Ventures, with participation of Sequoia US, Sequoia China, Hack VC, Circle Ventures, Amber Group, and a bunch of angels to complete our seed round. And also something something very interesting to mention is Balaji wrote an article called Mirror Table, talking about basically iterating the same problem that he witnessed in the space, and he also mentioned our name into his article, and it's because he is also an angel investor of ours. So we are basically going toward that direction and trying to build our second product to serve those needs for between the gaps between investors and founders. So our end goal is to become the AngelList of crypto, which we only want to focus on helping the founders and investors helping the founders to only focus on scaling the product and building innovation, helping the investors to focusing to alleviate them from the burden of the back office and the token distribution. So we become the platform that help them to manage contracts, manage token distribution, manage taxing, the compliance, banking, and eventually help them accelerate the due diligence process to exchange. So that was our future vision. We want to become the platform to help founders and investors grow as a group. So yeah, that will be my experience during my whole how ETH Sign was started and the fundraising journey and so on and so forth. Thank you again for the invite.
Yeah, we really enjoyed your presentation. Just have one quick question. So the Angel List, is very Web 2, and there are lots of copies and copycats of Angel List. And at the end of the day, people don't really go to any of those online marketplaces to invest in companies. But you
Yes.
believe that because of the utility function in Web 3, that, where tokenization is so challenging to manage, not just the actual issuance of tokens in the token economy upfront before you raise funding, but once you raise funding, that you're actually doing everything correctly with your treasury management in essence. Do you believe that will make this sort of an endeavor for ETH Sign
Mhm.
even more important than like an angel list in Web 2?
Exactly. So thank you for the question. So I think AngelList, where they started off by providing this platform to matchmake investors and founders, right? And they built out the other innovations like SPV syndicates and let's say the AngelList job board and the AngelList stack, so on and so forth, to help them to grow. However, I think we are targeting I think for crypto startups, the life cycle is oftentimes much shorter than the traditional startups. By if we measure like how long it would take for token startup or Web3 startup to get listed compared to a traditional startup to get IPO, right? The timeline is much shorter, and it has a lot of gray areas in the space where, because in the traditional startup world, there is a essentialized an entity that can they will distribute the shares or whatever that's authorized by the government, by the geographic authorities. But in crypto, it's all just smart contract distributing token. So it's from the infrastructure level, from the industry standpoint, it's all very different from the traditional. It has a lot of similarities, I would say, but there's also a lot of differentialities, which creating the gaps and making some of the space a gray area to operate with. So that is what we're trying to become, to fit in those gaps and become the the not to say the bridge, but the player that can the link, basically connecting all the dots and make the whole experience much better, is what we're trying to think. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's just so many opportunities to optimize this right now. So I'm glad you guys are trying to solve this, as it's a huge issue to grow the community and the ecosystem. Thank you for presenting at the BNB Chain and Infium Founders Academy, and please join us again as a presenter as you tackle another major obstacle in your path, and you get to the next stage of development. And maybe we'll send you all of our founders to list on your platform when it's ready.
That would be awesome. So just like a
Yes.
small advertisement here, we are officially launching our private beta. You can find more information on our website and on our Twitter. So don't hesitate to reach out. We want to add value to all of the founders, and hope to solve your problems that you are facing as well. And thanks again for Mariana for inviting me to this interview. Very grateful, and shout
Sounds
out to
great.
the community.
Thank you so much. Really very informative. Have a wonderful day. Bye.